Greetings, everyone! Welcome to another episode of Old Head Bangers Ball. It's me, Steven. I'm back again as your host. Luckily, Evil Head decided to leave as usual once Halloween was over. And honestly, I didn't think he was going to find me here because, I moved. And so I figured that, I was safe. But I guess not. But luckily, for the most part, he only really ever shows up around Halloween. So hopefully he wasn't too much of a bother or an annoyance. I heard it was a pretty good show anyway. I mean, he is my evil twin, so, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I guess there's awesomeness on both sides, I guess, folks, but I'm a little kinder, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the first episode, I guess, of what I'm going to call like the new season. Because, not that anything's really changed. The set is exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. And the format's exactly the same for the most part, except for I've decided that I'm not really too happy with having all these fucking rules. Rules are for fools. So I'm going to kind of start spreading my wings a little bit. So just a little bit, because you get tied down to having to play particular things from a particular time that were played on a particular show that won't get blocked by YouTube. So that really narrows everything down. So today, for a couple of these, it's going to branch out a little bit from that whole, MTV Headbangers Ball 87 to 94 kind of thing. Although the vibe's still going to be there. Sorry, I'm talking a whole lot about this, but it's really not that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's first video. This is one I wanted to play mostly because I'm just celebrating the fact that this band is back with an album that I fucking love. Review is coming. We are going to be watching the video for the song, quote unquote, from the band Mr. Bungle, from their self-titled 1991 album. It's self-titled. It's called Mr. Bungle, which, if you don't know, Mr. Bungle is Mike Patton's old school band from the 80s. And they're back together now with Scott Ian and Dave Lombardo. There's a whole review. There's a review of that album coming on Monday, so I'm not saying another fucking word about that. But this is from their debut album when they had a slightly different lineup and less metal. They're a weird band. If you don't know Mr. Bungle, it's kind of hard to describe them. They are a hodgepodge of awesome bizarreness all the time. And so I just figured that, I don't know. I'm so in a Bungle vibe right now that I want to listen to some Mr. Bungle. And this is a video that wasn't played on Headbangers Ball as far as I know. I'm not even sure if it was played on MTV because from what I read, it was banned. I'm not really sure why. I guess it has some sort of adult imagery in it, maybe, I guess. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so let's just fucking start it. Quote unquote, or Travolta, which was the original title of the song. We'll get into that later. Let's start playing the song right now. So at this point, I don't see anything in this video that wasn't already in a ton of other music videos in 1991. I guess we'll get to it eventually. So the one thing that, especially the beginning of this video, brings to mind for me is when I first saw this, because I was a huge Faith No More fan and I knew nothing about Mr. Bungle except that Mike Patton wore a Mr. Bungle shirt in the Epic video. And so when I first saw this video, which I think it may have been on an Access Television video show, which if you don't know, cable access, it's basically just city-funded television stations that anyone can pretty much broadcast from. You just have to sign up and take your turn. And there were actually shows in Austin where I grew up where they would play music videos that you couldn't see anywhere else. So I think that's where I saw this. And I remember thinking, this is not really what I expected, because I was, into Mike Patton like everybody else was. Not in the way that we are now, but I just liked him as the front man of Faith No More. And so when I heard this, I was like, I don't really get what this is or why he's doing this. It took a little while to grow on me, but right now I fucking love it. Let's keep going. Maybe it's the gimp mask along with the crucifix kind of thing. Maybe that was controversial, maybe, I guess. Maybe that was it, everybody being hanged. I've never been able to figure out what the correct word is for that. So what you just heard there were a few little lyrics from the song Grease. Is it Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons that did that? For the movie Grease with John Travolta. Song was originally called Travolta. They had to change the name, I guess, for legal reasons, and they changed it to quote unquote because that was the name of a biography, a bio or a biography. That word, why is that word not wanting to come out of my mouth the way it's supposed to? Biography. That's what I meant. It was called quote unquote. So it's kind of still Travolta without being Travolta. I don't know. At that point in 91, Travolta wasn't shit. He was in Look Who's Talking. Maybe he was already a Scientologist. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe behind the scenes he already had power, I guess. I mean, the video's creepy, but to me, there's nothing in here that would cause a video to be banned. Maybe I'm maybe I'm very loose with my morals. I don't know. Man, I love Mr. Bungle so much. I mean, this is I guess this is kind of weird if you don't listen to Mr. Bungle or things like this, but for them, it's less weird than some of their stuff. But, man, I love the journey that this band takes you on, with all three of their albums, now four, very different experiences. And, I'm not going to say a fucking word about the new album. You're just going to have to watch the goddamn video on Monday. Okay, so I guess maybe it's the hanging part that ended up getting it banned. Because I mean, maybe it depends on how you utilize that imagery. Because I think in the context of that video, maybe it was just too creepy. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? I mean, that seems very tame by today's standards. But yeah, there you go, Mr. Bungle with quote unquote or Travolta, depending on what you prefer. I actually like the name quote unquote. I don't know why. I think that's how I've always heard the song referred to as. Yeah. So I like that title. But anyway, Mr. Bungle. If you don't know Mr. Bungle, just go listen to any album, and you can't just listen to a song to figure out if you're into the Mr. Bungle thing. You have to be willing to make a commitment to give them a little bit of time, because it's worth it. Trust me. So yeah, first video of the night. See, I'm already straying away a little bit, not from Headbangers Ball, but from the time period. And so we're gonna keep on that time period. Not necessarily on Headbangers Ball. I'm not gonna give that much more away. Let's just move on to the second video of the night. Okay, so as usual, though, we're going to stick with the second song of the night being thrash metal, just because I love that shit. And this will be a little bit of a tribute, because we're going to be talking about a band that I really love that doesn't get a whole lot of love, but also we recently lost one of the band members. We're going to be watching a music video from this EP, Insanity Addicts, from Slammer. Slammer is a UK thrash metal band that existed from the mid to late 80s to the early to mid 90s. And I did a Bands You Should Know video on this band. I think they were an amazing band that does not get the love that they deserve. And recently we lost the guitar player whose name was Milo Zivanovic. And I'm not sure how he died, but it seemed unexpected. And, you know, from all accounts, I guess the age of these dudes, he's probably just in his 50s, you know, and that's too young for anybody to go. So this isn't, of course, something that was played on Headbangers Ball, because they didn't give any fucking love to the UK thrash scene, unfortunately. But I'm going to. I'm gonna do a little bit of a tribute to Milo and the music of Slammer. So yeah. And the song is Insanity Addicts, the title track from Insanity Addicts, the EP. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. Some great fucking shit.
Irrational, your laughter and irrational lie. Each day I get a little further from the truth. Finding newer ways to disbelieve the proof. It's crazy. I'm addicted to insanity. Believe me, because every word's a lie. Save me. Must I leave you so you'll notice me? Deceive me. I wouldn't have it any other way. So long ago when the words were fresh and clean.
So this song rules, this band rules. I'm curious though, because obviously with a band like this, there's not a shitload of information out there. This video is a very low budget affair, almost to the point where it seems like it was recorded for like a TV show back in the day, and then they put it out as a video. It really does have an 80s vibe to the I guess, would it be the camera work or the filter on the camera? I don't know. It just reminds me of something that would have been on a variety show in the 80s. But this was 1990, by the way, when this EP came out. And I don't know. Like I've said many times, it doesn't take a lot for me to enjoy a music video. I just want to see a killer band playing their shit, and that's what you get here. So I don't know why I'm still talking.
But too scared to conversate, too much to lose. Don't let it show as the news grows appetizer and my agony elects a cotton moods. There's no escape, I am a prisoner of the game. Running blindly like a moth into a flame. It's crazy. I'm addicted to insanity. Believe me, because every word's a lie. Save me. Must I leave you so you'll notice me? Deceive me. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That is a sweet breakdown, man. That is a... See, like, sometimes these little parts of songs, I forget about them. I remember there being a break, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that little harmony part. That's fucking cool. God, everybody run out and listen to all the slammer that you can after this episode. And everybody have a drink for Milo. Yeah, I don't understand why this band isn't talked about all the fucking time, because all of their shit is as good as this.
Was a lie. Save me. Must I leave you so you'll notice me? any other way.
Yes, Insanity Addicts from oh look, if the in the little things that you should watch after this, it's got my bands you should know on Slammer. So yeah, go do that after this if you want to listen to me ramble on about a band that I love. So yeah, up there with the best UK thrash bands for me, and it just sucks that bands like that. Because, you know, they started late in the game in the late 80s with their first album. And so by the time they had gotten to their second album, which I think was in 91, all of a sudden, you know, the grunge thing had happened. But even prior to that, it seemed like thrash metal was kind of going out of fashion. And the bands that were still doing things in that vein, a lot of them just weren't getting the love anymore. And it's just unfortunate because I think in hindsight, if you could have taken everyone in 1990 and 91 to the future and been like, look, you see what we're missing now? Don't fuck this up. and then bring everybody back. And then all these bands get a whole bunch of fucking love and attention and money. And they tour and make albums and go on and go on and go on. Some of them are still going on, but unfortunately, bands like Slammer are not. And that sucks. So, but let's not end this on a downer. It was a tribute to Milo, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's move on to the final video of the night. All right, so the final video of this episode was played on Headbangers Ball and came out in 1991. We are going to be watching the music video for the title track from Time's Up from Living Colour, one of my favorite bands. This album fucking rules. It's the second Living Colour album, and these guys, it almost seems like if you don't already know, I don't know what your problem is, because they have been an amazing band, and they still are to this day. And Time's Up, the album, is amazing. I think I did my very first Vinyl Thoughts video on Time's Up, because it's yellow vinyl, but I won't go into that. Go watch that video. So the song Time's Up is the video that we're going to be watching, and this song is great because it starts off the album, and it's for the casual listener who was into Cult of Personality from their first one, which I love that album and I love that song. But it is, you know, Cult of Personality, and you can get into it, and it gets played on the radio, and everybody loves it. A song like this, some people I don't think were ready for it, and let's just fucking do it. Time's Up from Living Colour. That is one of my favorite transitions ever. Just going from that really fast sort of thrashy beat and then going into this funky sort of groove part. Just an abrupt shift. It's so good. Also, Corey Glover, one of the best vocalists ever. And just the combination of everything that these guys did, you know, with Vernon Reed's guitar and the rhythm section, just everything about this band was so much what needed to happen at the time, but I don't think anybody else could have done it as good as this. And It's one of those things that makes you feel like maybe there is something up there because this kind of shit happened. You hear that? Well, shit. There's no time to pause in this song. Did you hear that rapid bass shit? God damn. How do you play that? I don't know. So did you hear that guitar solo right there? A sound that you would later see replicated by a guitarist named Tom Morello. I mean, I'm sure he would be one of the first to tell you he is a Vernon Reid fan. Who isn't if you're a guitar player? God, this is so the shifts in tone while still feeling like a cohesive song, and then the odd time signature kind of thrown in. It's there. There's so much. Like, this music was too good for the average listener, or the average talker, and it's even today. However many years, was it 29 years later? This is still, no, was this 91 or was this 90? This was 1990. So it's been 30 years since this came out. And it still sounds so good. Nothing about this sounds dated, and nobody does music like this. I wish that they did. They wouldn't do it as good, but I would respect them for trying. Is there anything I can possibly say after that? Amazing band, amazing song, amazing album. That I would say that if out of all the things I've played tonight, if you are not into Living Colour, you need to figure out your life. So that's just one man's opinion, okay? Don't be getting all fucking aggro on me, man. So yeah, time's up. Living Colour, 30 years ago, still kicking so much ass today. The last Living Colour album is fucking great too, which came out, I don't know, like 4 years ago maybe. It's the same lineup except for the bass player, who actually Time's Up was the last album with this particular bass player. But still a fucking killer band. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to wrap it up. That's it for tonight's episode of Old Head Bangers Ball. So start giving me some other suggestions that maybe might be a little bit left or right field, because I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start opening the scope of what I play. It doesn't just have to be metal or rock that was from Headbangers Ball, but I'm going to keep it kind of, I'm just going to open the bubble a little bit to allow some other things in, because it's just going to make it more interesting. So, so if any comments or any suggestions you have, just put those down below. And as always, thank you so much for continuing to watch. If you're new, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be here next Saturday night, so I'll see you guys then. Good night.